Everybody, and welcome back to Rugby Wrap-Up. Thank you once again for joining us, and thank you for joining us for this week's Martial Law, the turning point in every Major League Rugby match with Iona Rugby legend Colby Marshall. Colby, take it away. What's the first one?
Okay, Matt, first one up. The midweek match between LA and Austin. Top two teams in the league. Offense versus defense. Cali versus Texas. As usual, LA got out to a 7-0 lead and actually held Austin scoreless throughout the entire first half. However, late in the first half, Austin did have a great chance to score 5 points, but were stopped short of the goal line and had to settle for 3. And that right there was my turning point, Matt, because it kind of sent a message by LA to Austin that it was going to be tough pickings for them for the day, and it was. Those were their only points of the match.
You know, we all keep talking about how many points LA can put on the board, how many points LA can put on the board. They are a very good defensive team under Steve Hoyle. Very, very good team. Very good team. Next one,
NOLA versus Utah. You know, the Gold were jeopardizing an unbeaten streak against the Warriors going into this Western Conference tilt. Jumping to the final seconds of the first half, Utah was penalized for coming through the side of the breakdown, which set the table for NOLA to attempt a goal kick as time expired. And those 3 points, albeit they weren't 5, set NOLA up to have a great momentum boost going into the second half that they took advantage of and ran away with the game.
Yeah, Utah, bunch of blunders. W's a W. Big win for NOLA. Next
up, Old Glory versus Houston. You know, winners of 2 in a row coming into the game. Old Glory actually found themselves down 13-8 in the second half, but that was when Jason Robertson near Houston's goal line found Mike Dubalis outside on the wing. He was able to touch down for a try that tied the game, and Robertson's conversion a few minutes later would give Old Glory a lead that they would not surrender for the remaining minutes of the match. You know, Houston actually didn't score in the entire second half.
I think the most mispronounced name in the league this year so far has been Mike Dubulis. It is Dubulis. Let's go to the next one.
Next game, you know, I want to talk about Rugbytl versus Seattle. The first half was anybody's game. In the 32nd minute, Seattle's outside center, Tue Lavuka, didn't receive the necessary support that he needed going to ground as a ball carrier. As a result, Rugbytl were given the ball, and fly half Adrian Carrollsay made a beautiful touch kick that set them up handsomely for a powerful driving maul that scored them a try to go up by 2 scores.
We've seen that often, you know, teams struggling to get support for their ball carriers that break into the open. And it's a shame because, you know, you get into that open field, you have that exciting run, and then the life sucked out of your fans if you're at home or your team because nobody followed and you turn the ball over. Next.
Last game, New York versus New England. You know, every time it looked like New York were going to run away with the game, the Free Jacks came surging back. And after it got a little chippy in the second half, in the 53rd minute, both teams actually went 18 minutes without scoring a single point up until the 71st minute when the Butcher came to save New York and tallied his second try of the game after a powerful maul made by New York. And that gave them a 10-point lead with just under 10 minutes to play. So it was comfortable for the rest of the game for New York.
Yeah, New England is a very strong side, too. You know, people underestimate them. And this was a tough one on the road. It was boiling hot in Jersey City on that field turf. But a couple of different things that were interesting about the match is with Dan Hollinshead out, Harry Bennett was fly half, and his backup at fly half was Andy Ellis, who was the starting scrum half. And Andy Ellis moved to fly half in this match. Nick Savetta going down with an injury that's undetermined at this point, but he should be okay in a couple of 3 weeks. But another one of those Eastern Conference battles.
What a performance, too, by Harry Bennett. I mean, he had a try in the game, played a really great game at fly half. And, you know, you mentioned it. Andy Ellis did move to the 10. They like to bring in Connor McManus in at the end of the game. But Utah, again, I don't know what they're doing. They lost this week. No John Powers. I mean, you haven't rostered him at all this year, you know.
No John Powers, Utah.
Give him a shot. I mean, what are you guys doing? It's ridiculous.
All right. I want to thank you, Mr. Colby Marshall, for this week's Martial Law, the turning point in all of our Major League Rugby matches. And we'll see you next week. And in the meantime, folks, please check out our other segments, including our Major League Rugby show, our Global Rugby Recap, What Are the Odds?, our Major League Rugby Sports Bet show with the Philly Godfather, John Bradshaw Layfield, the WWE legend, and Gifty Bailu, the Zack Attack. And please sign up for our American Red Cross Rugby Wrap-Up Blood Donor Team.